the City of Lakeland Red Light Appeals hearing. You're here today because you have chosen to appeal the notice of violation you received in the mail. It looks like everybody has gotten here really early today, which is sort of unusual. And I hope everybody has had the chance to go over, review the photos and video that the city's going to present as evidence of the violation. Has everybody gotten a chance to do that? Okay. You're here today because you have chosen the option to contest the violation. If you're successful, there'll be no further obligation. If you're unsuccessful, you'll be subjected to the statutory fine, which is $158, plus an administrative fee. And if you would simply like to request additional time, you've probably been through this before I showed up, but you can just come talk to Ms. Tyson over here, and she can go over the summary disposition procedure with you. I believe the procedure is you get 60 extra days to pay for a $12.50 administrative fee. My name is Matt Vaughn. I'm an attorney here in town and the hearing officer for the red light hearings. I'm not a circuit judge. I don't have an office over in Bartow. And you are here today because you have chosen to appeal the infraction. So my job here today as the hearing magistrate is to determine whether an infraction occurred and review the evidence and facts and apply the law to the facts. So generally, and this is important, generally these violations are broken down into three categories. The first two are I have very little discretion. Those are straight throughs and left on reds. There's the statutes that kind of dictate the red light violation procedures, lay out certain exceptions to those types of violations, but other than that, I have very little discretion. Those things usually have something to do with a law enforcement officer waving you through, funeral processions, things like that. However, the right on red is determined by the careful and prudent standard, and I have a little bit more discretion with right on reds. So the first thing my first job is to determine whether it's a violation, and if there was a violation, was it justified? And again, it's a broader defense for right-hand turns. It's determined by the careful and prudent standard. And the things we look at are things like speed, conditions, things like that, pedestrian activity. Any questions of law as to whether the statute is unconstitutional or unjust, you can make those arguments here today. I just have no power to rule on them. That's something that you'll have to take down to Bartow and argue in front of a judge. As for the fines, as we discussed, the statutory fine for each violation is $158. The statutes, we talked a little bit earlier about the administrative fee. The statutes allow for an administrative fee up to $250 if you're unsuccessful here today. The city generally limits that at $100. These are not moving violations, so there's no points assessed. It doesn't follow your insurance. It shouldn't increase the cost of your insurance. However, if you go each year to renew your registration, you will have to pay that fine before you're able to renew the registration. So in other words, it follows your registration. So whoever the car is registered to, it will follow that person. There's no transfers of liability during the hearing here today. That was covered on your violation. Transfers of liability is a fancy term for somebody else was driving. It wasn't me. Even though the car is registered to me, somebody else was driving. The procedure for doing that is laid out on the violation, and that includes filing an affidavit before you show up here today to basically tell us who was driving, and then that violation would go over to that person. Any arguments that you did not receive proper notice of a violation are waived once you show up here today. And again, going back to the circuit court, you can appeal anything that happens here today. I would recommend you get an attorney, but you can probably go down to the courthouse here in town on Parker Street or down to Bartow and appeal anything that happens here today. The format of the hearing is the city will go first. The officers here to my left, your right, will put on its evidence of the violation that will consist of photos, videos, maybe other information. Once they put that information up, you are free to argue your case, or you can also cross-examine the officers, which means you can ask them questions about the violation, the equipment, things like that. Then once you ask the officers questions, you can go ahead and proceed with your case. Due process considerations dictate the hearing be run in a fair and equitable manner. However, the rules of evidence do not necessarily apply, meaning you have more leeway to make arguments and evidence than you would have in a normal judicial proceeding. At this point, I want you to decide whether you want to move forward with the appeal, and we're going to swear everybody in. Once we swear everybody in and you decide not to move forward with the appeal, there will be a $50 cancellation fee. And I'm not trying to discourage anybody from going forward, but that's how that's going to work. So anybody that simply wants the extension of time, let me know now. If not, we'll go ahead and swear everybody in. Okay.
Can you please raise your right hand?
Everybody that's going to be testifying or talking here today, please stand up and raise your right hand.
Do you affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
It looks like the first one
We're
I
gonna
have is Brackens.
go with how do you pronounce it? Rose Goss. Yeah, that word.
Rogowski.
We're gonna go with him first. He
The one ending in 11902?
correct.
Okay.
Come on up. You can stand right up here. Yeah.
Good morning. How are you?
We ready?
Yes.
Good. Good morning, Officer Scott here, Lakeland Police Department. To my right, Officer Strickland will be operating the computer for me. We're going to start off with notice of violation number 1242300011902. First name is Chester, last name is Rogowski. Give me just 1 second, my computer is not working. Okay. This violation occurred on January 4th of 2023 at 12:59 p.m. Violation is on a 2022 Nissan gray in color with a Florida registration of India Mike Tango 79. That's IMT T79, as you see here in the first still photo. As we go to the second still photo, this is going to be a straight-through violation. Violation occurred northbound US 98 at Griffin Road. The light was yellow for 4.8 seconds. It was red for an additional 1.0 seconds. The speed limit in this particular intersection is 45, and the violator was doing 28. And here you can see where his vehicle's before the white stop bar. And we go to the second or the third still photo. You can see where the vehicle has entered the intersection. And we will show you the video. It's yellow, turns red, and he proceeds through the intersection. We'll slow it down for you at quarter speed. Here it turns red. He's way before the stop bar, and he proceeds on through the intersection. And let me bring to your attention the two white box trucks that are in front of him. I spoke to him prior to.
I think I know the argument that's coming.
So he told me before in video range that supposedly those two cut him off. So, and I tried to explain to him about backing off to be able to see the intersection. So just bring that to your attention. And that's all I have.
And it's Rogovsky?
Rogovsky.
Okay, Mr. Rogovsky, you heard me in my opening straight-throughs. I don't have much discretion, okay? Very little. if
Yeah.
any. So, you're free to make your argument. Just keep that in mind.
Yes, sir. So as I explained, just prior to the start of this video, as I was entering that intersection, these two white box trucks, one at a time, flew by me and cut me off. My belief is they were doing so to try to get through the light before it turned red. So I am confident that I would not have gone through a red light if we remove those two white box trucks from the equation. My actions as far as driving through the red light were as a result of their careless and reckless driving. When you're in your vehicle and something large just comes out of nowhere alongside your vehicle, you're very startled, distracted. I mean, I probably had adrenaline going through me when it happened. I was very distracted at that moment. And then to have a second one do the same thing just before I was entering that intersection, that was the result of me going through that red light. At the start of this video, I had just experienced that. So, one, my adrenaline's going, I'm probably upset, distracted. And by the time I realized that the light was red, it was too late. I couldn't go backwards. If I slammed on my brakes, that would have been more of a hazard than me proceeding through the red light. So that's my argument. I understand that the video doesn't reflect what I'm telling you, but I did take pictures shortly after going through that intersection because at that moment, I was very angry that this just occurred, and angry that I had to go through a red light because of it.
Why did you take pictures? What were the pictures of?
After I went through that red light, I was very upset. And so I was taking pictures thinking, I'm going to report these guys because they're driving very aggressively. And then after I calmed down, I decided to just go about my business and forget about it.
These are pictures of the trucks?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you report them?
No.
And you said they cut you off. What do you mean by that?
I'm in the far left lane. They must have come from the next lane over somewhere. And so here I am traveling into the intersection. They must have come like this, and another one right behind them, like that.
Because I was going to say you're in the left lane, and there's a median there, so they couldn't have turned left in front of you, so they had to get on and then merge over, right?
Right.
So this would have happened well before the light.
And in order for them to do that, they had to have been driving fast.
That wasn't the argument I was expecting. Usually people behind box trucks say, I couldn't see because the truck was blocking my view because they're tall, and the answer to that is you're following too closely. That looks like from the video probably what happened here. At the moment they cut you off, you know there's an intersection coming up. I mean, are you from Lakeland?
No.
Where are you from?
I'm from Tampa.
Okay. What were you doing over in Lakeland?
I'm a territory manager. I visit different hospitals and doctors' offices. So I think I was coming from Watson Clinic, going back to Tampa.
Okay. So you're over here quite a bit, though.
No, I'm actually not.
Okay. What's your territory?
Tallahassee, Jacksonville, Daytona Beach, Ocala, Gainesville, down to Venice Beach on the West Coast, Polk County. So I have probably visited this area 3 times in the last 6 months.
Okay.
And this was my first time at this intersection.
Okay.
So I'm not familiar with this intersection. I am now.
Okay. The argument I'm hearing is not one of the I guess what I'm trying to get to, it's not one of the statutory exceptions. So there wasn't a funeral procession where there's an officer waving you through. You weren't getting out, obviously not getting out of the way of an emergency vehicle. So I just don't have any discretion. When the vehicles are driving erratically, the best thing to do is just get away from them, let them have their space, especially with an intersection coming up. So I'm going to have to uphold the violation, $158 fine, $100 administrative fee payable within 30 days.
Okay.
So I hear you, but
It's
my hands are
unfortunate.
very tied with straight throughs and left on reds.
I understand. So I just go over here? Or?
You'll get something in the mail, actually.
I'm all set?
You're free to go, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Have a good
Mhm.
day.
Okay, the next one we're gonna call up is, last name is Melendez. Last, 45355.
Hi, are you here for red light hearing?
Yes,
Okay, what's your last name?
Pfeiffer, P-H-F,
A P, okay, the PH,
We got
okay.
another gentleman,
There's two came in.
Perez, okay.
Oh, and what's your name?
Perez, P-E-R-E-Z.
How about we hold those two to the end and we'll give them a chance to look at the
See,
video?
okay.
Mhm.
That'll work.
And you are Miss Melendez?
Yeah.
Okay, next violation number is 1242300045355. Last name is Melendez. Okay, this violation occurred February 22nd February 22nd, 2023 at 8:59 PM. Violation is on a 2003 Jeep gray in color with a Florida registration of Quebec Lima Golf Victor 70. That's QLGV 70, as you see here in the still photo. As we go to the second still photo, this is going to be a straight-through violation. Violation occurred northbound on South Florida Avenue at East Beacon. The light was yellow for 4.5 seconds, then it was red for an additional 0.4 seconds. As you can see here in the still photo, the vehicle is before the white stop bar and the light is red. And we'll go to the third still photo where it's in the intersection. We'll show you the video. We'll slow this down for you at quarter speed. So light is yellow. And the light turns red and the vehicle's before the stop bar and then proceeds through the intersection.
And somebody else behind him too.
Yes, that one also got a violation. I spoke to her prior to this, and she's stating that because the vehicle was behind her, following too closely, that she didn't want to slam on brakes and stop, so she thought it was better to go through the intersection. But I tried to explain to her that there is a yellow light prior to, start slowing down. Other vehicles start slowing down behind her, but anyways, so that is our evidence.
Okay, Miss Melendez, again, it's a straight through.
So we did slow down.
Were you in the car?
She was driving,
Oh, you were the driver and you're her
mother.
mother, okay.
I was the passenger.
Yeah, you can certainly come up and talk because you're in the car, so I think you're a qualified witness.
So my mom's had a lot of neck surgery, so I'm her primary.
Yeah, you got to speak into the, sorry.
So my mom's had a lot of neck surgeries, and I'm her primary driver, and I'm a fairly new driver. So I was more cautious about the vehicle since it's our only vehicle. Smashing into behind us than like the red light. That was my main priority, like making sure she doesn't need another neck surgery. So I didn't like.
She did slow down.
I did slow down like
She did
before
slow
the
down,
cameras.
but if you can see in the
If you're
video.
gonna speak, you have
Yeah, you got to speak into the camera. I'm sorry. Whoever's speaking, you got to speak
Sorry.
into the camera.
She did slow down. However, he was like right there. So I'm screaming in the car. I'm like, my neck, my neck. If you hit me, if I get hit again, you know, that's not going to be good.
Can we play the video at quarter speed again? The problem I have is that light was yellow for a while. And if you would have probably, how long was the light yellow for? Because we saw 2 or 3 cars go through the yellow light.
4.5 seconds.
So you had about 4, almost 5 seconds to start tapping brakes, slowing down,
She
letting the
did,
person
but to
in.
go where?
Well, to slow down and
We
warn the
slowed
car
down.
behind you. I understand.
Like, if you see in the video, we slowed down and the other vehicle.
If I would have slowed down and I hit my brakes, I would have probably damaged my brakes, and I would have ended up like right in the middle of the intersection on the crosswalk. And you're not supposed to stop on the crosswalk because pedestrians need to walk either way.
How fast was the car going?
15 miles an hour.
1.5? Looks like it's going a lot faster than that.
I don't drive fast. I may be young, but I'm not a stupid driver. My father has a CDL. Like, he taught me how to drive.
It's 35 through there, so.
So, I mean, look, it's a straight through, so, you know, I'm trying to get, and look, I see the car following me closely. However, that's what yellow lights are for, and I hear your argument, you know, slamming on the brakes, and, you know, I don't know. I don't know what would have happened. I wasn't in the car. I hear your testimony. What I'm going to do, because I do see a car kind of tailing you, is I'm going to hold the $158 violation, but I'm going to waive the administrative fee and make that payable within 30 days. Is that okay? I mean, I can do 60 days if you want, 30 or 60. I'll make it 60. But I just don't have the discretion because, you know, technically you're supposed to be using caution, especially this is at night. You're going through a danger, these red light cameras are set up at intersections that are the most dangerous generally. And so you're going through a dangerous intersection, going at night with somebody who evidently was injured in the past, and that, you know, you need to use more caution. And
15 with an
She's going
injured
15
person.
miles per
I
hour.
understand, but it's not, what I'm trying to tell you is,
The car
it's not,
was right in back.
if I gave everybody, if I let everybody off, that's why I only have statutory violations, or statutory exceptions. I can't, people who are running straight through a red light, what if there's a car coming through that intersection, you would have hit them, T-boned them, your neck would have been hurt also. So that's why we have red lights, that's why we have green lights, because you're putting other people in danger when you run a red light. And anybody that runs a red light is putting other people in danger, including yourself. But I am waiving that administrative fee. But
And I do understand that. I do understand that because my brand new car was totaled by somebody that rear-ended me like a week before this. So I'm screaming my neck because I just got out of the hospital, you know. So I think it's very unfair because we could have got hit yet again, and that would have been the last vehicle in the house because the other car is totaled. So I think that this is very unfair.
Okay, it's a straight through, again, I don't have discretion. You ran a red light. It's against the law, okay? And when you break the law, there is a fine.
So it would have been better to just let the car hit us and create a bigger accident. Okay, thanks.
Okay. $158 fine, payable within 60 days, waiving the administrative fee.
So So do I need to go up there?
You'll get something in the mail.
Thank you.
All right, next is going to be last name of
Hang on.
Brackens.
Hang
Oh,
on. He's
sorry.
wanting you to speak closer because they can't hear you.
Okay, sorry. And who's,
Brackens. Okay, next notice of violation number is going to be 1242200256474. Last name of Brackens. This violation occurred December 9th of 2022 at 4:27 p.m. Violation is on a 2010 Honda beige in color with a Florida registration of Hotel Romeo Romeo Sierra 96. As you see here in the still photo, HRRS 96. As we go to the second still photo, this violation occurred northbound. Hold on, give me 1 second. Here we go, just came in. Violation occurred southbound Bartow Road at US 98 in Crystal Lake. The light was yellow for 4.8 seconds, and it was red for an additional 0.1 seconds. Her speed was 32 miles an hour. As you see here in this still photo, her car is behind the white stop bar and the light is red above the big truck there. And we'll go to the third still photo where you can see she's entered the intersection, and we'll show you the video. So we slow it down quarter speed. Light turns red. She's before the white stop bar and proceeds to the intersection.
okay, Ms. Brackens, straight through,
And
right?
Yes, sir, but the car, the truck was in front of me,
Yeah, I see that.
so I couldn't sit and see, and then, you know, because I was cautious, because I'm not a speed driver or anything like that, but, and then the car passed me, so I'm thinking that the light was still green, because I couldn't see ahead of me. I could not see ahead of me, and I was like, if you can see right there, I was cautiously driving.
Yeah. It looks like you got two violations, you guys were side by side. Okay, sorry to interrupt, go ahead.
No, I was just saying that I was cautiously driving. I wasn't like, trying to, because I didn't know that the light was red. I was thinking that it was green because I could not see ahead of me. And then when the car proceeded right by me and went through it itself, I'm thinking that the light was still green.
And
That-
before, I tried explaining to her in cases like this, technically she's following too closely, that she needed to create some distance there because she's entering that intersection blindly because she cannot see the light.
That's the argument I thought the person at the beginning was, I think that was Mr. Rogalski. That's the
Yeah,
argument
yeah.
I thought he was going to make, because he had a box truck. But, yeah, so Officer Scott, the way we typically handle, we get some of these that come in where there's a big semi-truck driving through the intersection, and you know, and I've even found myself in these situations on the road from time to time. You got to give yourself enough distance, especially when there's, you know, a busy road and that has a frequent number of intersections, to be able to see.
Thought I was. I really thought I was because I wasn't trying to speed up.
Yeah, it
behind-
didn't look like you were speeding.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to speed up behind the car. And then when the car passed me, I just thought that it was a green light.
No, and I have no doubt you couldn't see,
You
you
know?
know, because that's a big truck. But you were following kind of close to where I know you couldn't see. I know you couldn't see the light. But it is a straight through. And I just don't, you know, funeral processions, officers waving you through, letting an ambulance go or a fire truck go, things like that. Those are the exceptions to straight throughs and left on reds. And the reason that statutes are set up like that is because straight throughs and left on reds are the most dangerous. Because you usually got a fair amount of speed going, you're not turning, you know, people that are turning right have to slow down, you know, just as a matter of physics to make that turn. But if you run a red light at, you know, going straight through or left on an intersection, you have a potential of getting in a bad accident. So I tell you what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna uphold the $158 violation, but I'm gonna do what I did with the person that came before you. I'm gonna waive that administrative fee and make it payable within 60 days, and just in future, when you're following, you know, a big semi truck, and by doing these, I start to think about these things when I'm on the road too. And when, you know, I know there's intersections and I'm behind a truck, I can't see, I kind of panic and slow down just because I see so many of these come in, and it's a dangerous, you know, it's dangerous in a lot of ways. And, you know,
So
just
did
make,
that car that went on the side of me, that could,
he got a violation too, or he or she. The camera got them too. So I don't know that they're here appealing, but, you know, they got a ticket in the mail. Both you guys did. So just give yourself a little bit of space in the future when those
Okay.
semi-trucks come. I know you couldn't see, but it is a violation, and I don't have discretion to waive it.
yes, sir.
So $158 statutory fine, no administrative fee payable within 60 days.
Okay,
Okay.
and they'll send me paperwork.
Yeah, you'll get it in the mail.
Okay,
Mhm.
thank you so
Uh-huh.
much.
So we have two gentlemen that came in after we were sworn in.
Yeah, so let me give you the Cliff Notes version of what's going on. You're here, this is the red light appeals hearing. You need to go review the video, even though we've kind of sworn everybody in. I don't think you guys have been sworn in because you came in late. I'll give you a few minutes to review the video with Officer Scott. It has video and pictures of the evidence there that's going to be presented here today. As you probably found out as you've been sitting here, there's three types of red light violations. One's a left on red, one's straight through, and one's right on red. The left on red and straight through, very little discretion. There are certain statutory exceptions, and that's really the exceptions you have to going straight through a red light. If you go right on red, it's governed under the statutes, under the red light camera statutes, by the careful and prudent standard, and that's what people tend to call California stops or something like that. However, if an officer, it's different here because I have that discretion, but if an officer's sitting there watching you not stop before you go right on red, you would get a ticket. Okay, we might hit red light camera. Okay, what's your name? Smith.
Last name Smith?
I don't see, it looks like,
What's your name? No, what's your first name?
so it looks like 02281. Yeah.
You weren't scheduled to be here. Let me see. I know, but she's not scheduled to be at a hearing. That's summary judgments.
Yeah, you could, well, we're going to kind of take a little, you know, it's sort of off the record for right now because,
She signed us somewhere.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Did you fill out some paperwork at code enforcement?
I was supposed to do it in hospitals.
Mm-hmm.
Long story short, I don't have a phone, so we got to talk to people.
you're canceling or,
I was trying to make an extension.
well, you have the extension.
Yeah, you've already got
So
it.
you've already
Yeah.
signed the extension, you don't have to be here. Yeah, no ma'am. Since you signed the extension, you shouldn't have never got a notice, but you don't have to be here.
No, I just got off work.
Yeah, sorry.
Thank you guys.
Yeah.
You sure? I'm trying to get.
Yeah, you're good. We got you down here.
Do you guys by chance know about, like, when this is, because it doesn't say when it's due or anything?
It'll be 60 days from today. You'll get a notice in the mail.
Have a good day.
Okay, so the way the statutes lay it out is there's a statutory fine in the Florida statutes of $158 for red light violations. The statute allows for a administrative fee of up to $250. The city generally caps that at $100 if you're unsuccessful. If you're successful, you walk out of here, you have no further obligation. Let's see, not moving violations. They shouldn't affect your insurance. They will follow your registration. So the owner of the vehicle, who the vehicle is registered to, in order to renew that, you'll generally have to pay the violation. Transfers of liability, meaning you say somebody else is driving my car that's registered to me even though I got the ticket. You have to sign an affidavit. Kind of lays that out on the violation that you got in the mail. And there are no transfers of liability today. So you can't, one thing you can't do is come up here and argue and say, well, my child was driving, my mom was driving. You have to sign the affidavit and send that in, and then that transfers the liability to that person. What am I missing here? City goes first, just like you've seen. You've kind of seen the format sitting here, probably. And then you'll have the chance to ask them questions if you want to, or you can proceed with your case. And if you simply want an extension to pay, you just saw that too. There's a $12.50 administrative fee, and you'll have 60 days to pay. So that's what we call summary disposition. You have the opportunity to do that now. If you don't want the extension and you want to proceed with your case, we're going to have to swear you in, and then once we swear you in and you decide not to proceed, there is a $50 cancellation fee. Okay? So I guess we can re-swear everybody in, Ms. Tyson. The officers have already been sworn. So, no, just stand up and raise your hand. I'm sorry. Both you guys. Whoever's going to be testifying.
Have you,
Oh, yeah, they're going to see the video. Okay, sorry. Yeah, I'm ahead of myself. I'm sorry.
okay, so he explained that to you? Yeah. Okay, so if that's what you're wanting to do, just get an extension? You don't want it, then just go up there and see her. Okay.
And you are, remind me again? Perez, okay.
Have you seen your video? No. Okay, you stand over here
You're
for
live,
me,
right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah.
so you signature
Okay, so you have any questions for us? The video? Okay, we'll pull it up. He's gonna pull it up.
And you'll get notification in the mail.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
Have a
you.
great day.
You too.
Straight through here. That's you right there in the gray, Okay, let's slow it down for him we'll show you at a slower pace at quarter speed and then. It's yellow. When it turns red, stop. Proceed on through the intersection. And it was, that speed limit in there is 45 and you're going 51. So, you have a couple of options as he explained to you. If you just want to take what they call summary judgment, it's $158 for the original fine, $12.50 for admin fee, and they give you 60 days to pay. if you want to do that.
Just do that. I honestly didn't think that was going to intersection slide, so.
Okay, all right. So just see this young lady up here and you'll be free to go. All right, have a good day.
Are you Derek?
Yes,
Just need your signature on your phone. Did I hand you one?
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
You've got a good voice. You sound like somebody on the movie preview.
Yeah,
Well,
was thinking the same
maybe
thing. I
we
was
should have
like-
my voice at the intersection. Slow down. Slow down.
Very commanding voice.
like, he should be like narrating.
That's right,
something.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Some
get
money
the
on
Barry
that.
White.
Yeah, you are, you do sound like Barry White.
No Barry White money, but,
Can you sing? Sing us a little tune.
oh, actually, the best part of my singing voice, believe it or not, is my falsetto.
Ah, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I can do some, I don't know how old you guys are, but Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ah,
So,
okay,
Philip Bailey is Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Okay, you'll get notifications.
very good.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Thank you, have a good day.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. We have one no-show.
Okay.
It's Pena.
Pete?
Juan.
Okay.
No, I'm
Wanda.
sorry.
Pete.
Wanda.
9699.
Okay, next notice of violation numbers 124-23000-19699 on Wanda Pena. Violation occurred January 17th of 2023 at 5:43 PM. Violation is on a 2013 Mazda, red in color, with a Florida registration of 2504 Yankee Echo. That's 2504 YE, as you see here in the still photo. As we go to the second still photo, this violation occurred southbound Socrum Loop Road at Old Cumbie Road. This is going to be a straight-through violation. The light was yellow for 4.9 seconds. It was red for an additional 1.3 seconds. The speed limit here is 40, and the vehicle was doing 23. In this still photo, you can see where the front tires are before the white stop bar. And we'll go to the third still photo, and you can see where they have entered the intersection, and we'll show you in the video.
Oh, wow. You tried to stop.
And then proceeded on through. We'll show you again. Like, nope, I'm gonna go on through it.
Huh. Nobody's here to testify regarding what was going on, and it was a straight-through violation. I'll uphold the $158 fine, $100 administrative fee payable within 30 days.
I believe that's all we have.
Okay, so at this time, we'll go through the summary dispositions in the following cases. The violators have elected summary disposition, and they will receive a fine of $158 plus a $12.50 administrative fee and have 60 days to pay from today. 0616 Anderson Patricia, 8567 Barlow Christina, 5722 Bell Jadanta, 14179 Branch Angelique, 1850, Byers Erica. 4708, Coleman Ashley. 3537, Crozier Kristen. 1703, Cruz Asia. 2248, Davis Jasmine. 10474, Diaz Denise. 5142, Eckert Jonathan. 1978, Griffey's Haley. 2256, Hall Nathaniel. 5821, Hammerschmidt Paul. 8774, Hartley John. 8996, Isaac Stiven. 6058, Jones Kenya. 7900, Mata de Cortez Maribel. 6976, McNeil Akari. 9064, Moss Richard. 1067, Nyen Tracy. 1515, Oates Arnold. 2554, Parker Brett. 2545, Paul Selena. 1950, Pereira Irene. 8361, Perez Juan. 1721, Pfeiffer Derek. 6136, Reed Carrington. 5564, Rossiter John. 2281, Smith Tanaya. 1217, Smith Zareja. 9484, Stroder Corey. 9791, Thomas Richard. 9292, 2C Maury. 9029, Webb Eric. 6375, West Lindsay. 9609, White Jonathan. 3385, Wiggins OSHA. 7892, Williams Christina. That will conclude the hearing.